over the course of 30 years of emergency medicine, I've developed some PTSD, not one big event, but, death by 1,000 paper cuts that started developing up on anxiety, depression, different behaviors that I really haven't experienced before. And then that turned down to alcohol. I got pretty heavy, especially earlier in this year, and it started to affect my work. Mm-hmm. And as a doctor, that's not good. So I was able to manage to back off myself a little bit, but I just couldn't clear that hump. Things were still not going the right direction. My wife and I started this investigation probably in April or May. And I was really displeased because most of the clinics said that I was too old. And they didn't really believe that I had PTSD. They flat out refused, said, yeah, our doctor doesn't want to do anybody older than 50 years old. And you've got people 15 years my senior year. They flat out told me. I mean, they said, you haven't had a substantial trauma that should qualify you to have PTSD. They don't see the other side of it where, you see 10,000 traumas over the course of 30 years. They didn't believe that. I first heard about the website that I found you on, listening to Governor Rick Perry and Joe Rogan. And that's when I really started thinking about it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience when you arrived before the Ibogaine treatment? As a medical doctor, obviously you have a different type of perception of everything, how it works. How did you feel safety-wise in the sense like medically and all the service that you had before the Ibogaine treatment?
Medically, I felt I was really sound. But, I didn't even get to go up to my room. And they were already taking me back to the treatment room, getting my vitals, getting my history, getting my allergies, filling out forms, checking my bags for paraphernalia, all that stuff. And that put me at ease really pretty quick. Before the treatment, I still had some apprehensions just on what to expect, because so many people, I think, confuse things like Ibogaine with Ayahuasca, and they're so much different from their perspective. I haven't done Ayahuasca, but that's one that I'd be really afraid to do. I really would be. But Ibogaine was simple. I felt better in 24 hours.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Ibogaine treatment? Some people experience something that people call the life review.
The way I've kind of philosophically kind of thought about it is when you take the treatment, the Ibogaine puts like a librarian in your brain and starts sorting through all these different documents back and forth. Documents being life experiences, people commercials that you've watched. And when I was in that first experience, I had like a big screen that was 180 degrees, and I could just look around and see, this experience. It is kind of a life in review, but it's not scary.
And then your second treatment, you had 2 or 3?
3.
You had 3. Can you tell us a little bit about the second and third?
Yeah, the second oral, really not much of an experience. A lot of just kind of dark gray haze. And I asked Jack about that, and he says, yeah, I've done it 3 times with that second treatment. He says, that's the Ibogaine reorganizing. You don't need to experience it again, but it's now reorganizing. I asked for the third treatment to be IV as well. I had a pretty good experience, and it was more life. It was more reorganization, a reset. That's really what I needed. I really needed a reset.
Has there been other effects that you can feel in your body, in your skin, in your mind, whatever?
Yeah, I'm thinking much more clearly. I'm steady now. I don't have, the shakes are gone. I can actually write my name. My appetite is down. I think I lost 12 pounds while I was here.
That's just how many days?
10 days. Yeah, down 12 pounds. And I'm sure a lot of that was water, but I don't care. It's gone. The alcohol's gone, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't had a craving since that first treatment. Not even one.
And how did you feel with the complementary therapies that you received? The massage, the psychologist?
Yeah, the acupuncture was really enlightening. Massages were very good. The sound therapy.
That's great, right?
The sound therapy. Yeah.
What would you say to someone that is doing the research right now? Someone that is maybe having substance abuse problems or maybe trauma, PTSD, or sometimes people come because they have, like, they don't have a purpose in life.
Sure.
They feel like empty in that way.
Loneliness, emptiness, depression. Can't sit still. Got to drink because I'm anxious. Again, like me, PTSD, and I can see like a couple of the compatriots in there, business burnout.
Yeah.
Business burnout. And I can see that happening. And I would say that you really have nothing to fear. I think that you're going to get nothing but a good experience. You're going to get nothing but support. I had a little breakdown there in the middle, and I needed support, and it came like that. I mean, it was immediate, and then it was the next day, and then it was before the next treatment, and then, it didn't stop. It wasn't just, hey, are you okay? Okay, I'm going back to bed. It wasn't that. So, even if there is something that happens, someone who's coming in should understand that the support staff is 100%.
Do you have a different perspective? Maybe you have a different opinion, but maybe just as a medical doctor, that would you recommend, or what would you say to someone, maybe other doctors that are like a little bit on the fence about the treatments?
Yeah, I think those doctors need to talk to your doctor, because he's been doing this for how many years?
The clinic has been up for about 15 years.
15 years. So he's been a medical doctor here for 15 years. It doesn't take a military explosion, to cause trauma. It can come over time.
Yes.
So, and that can be in so many different situations. But those doctors should take solace in knowing that this drug is safe. This drug is safe. I don't know how many treatments that I had, as well as everybody else had in the whole place, and never was there an issue.
We do have different treatments for different people, the protocols change depend on the needs, the age, the medical history. It's not like a one-size-fits-all treatment.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you had a good experience. I really hope that you continue on the right track.
Yeah, me too.
And that everything goes good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.